Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, the state calls Kouri Richins-Benson.
I think she's in the lobby, is that correct? Ms. Richins-Benson, hi. If you'd step in front of Brittany, please.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in the matter before the court to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, subject to the means and penalties of perjury? Thank you.
Feel free to move that chair wherever you're comfortable. You can also move the mic.
Okay,
There you go.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bloodworth, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
What is your name?
Kouri Richins-Benson.
And is your last name spelled Richins-Benson?
You got it.
Okay. I'm going to stand here because I would like you to address the jury. And I'm hoping that if I stand close to the jury, if you mistakenly shift to me, you're still addressing them.
Okay.
Do you know Eric Richins?
Yes, he was my brother.
Did you grow up with him?
Yes, yes. We were only 2 years apart, so we were inseparable.
What was your relationship like as you grew up together?
So we did everything together. We went to school together. We worked on a ranch. So we have a family ranch that's been passed down for generations. We worked on the ranch together. We fished. We hiked. We did everything together.
How has that relationship continued into adulthood?
So my brother and I were very close. We talked constantly. We spent holidays together. We had our families together. So our kids are very close in age. We did lots of activities with our kids together. Like I said, we had them on the ranch all the time together. Talked on the phone almost daily.
What was Eric's personality like as an adult?
Eric was one of the most likable people. I'm sorry, guys. Okay.
There are tissues if you'd like.
Okay. So, he was one of... Sorry, I'm trying so hard not to cry. He was one of the most likable people you've ever met. So, Eric was the kind of person that loved everyone. It did not matter who you were, where you came from, where he met you. Everyone thought they were his best friend. If you talked to him, they all said, "I'm Eric's best friend," because that's the way Eric made you feel. He was upbeat. He was positive. He literally would give a stranger he met on the side of the road his jacket, anything to help anyone out. That's the kind of person he was.
What did he like to do? How did he spend his time?
So, the number one thing that Eric loved was his kids. So he would do anything for his boys. He was the best dad you would ever see. He was a phenomenal uncle. If there were kids involved, he was there. He would show up. So whether it be soccer games, so he coached my nephew's soccer. And he was the dad that coached, that went and got all the signs that were special, so he'd get there before the soccer games, put all the signs up so the kids had their team name everywhere. he also was adamant about making sure they learned how to work. So my parents were very focused on teaching us how to work, to have that strong work ethic. So he had his kids on the ranch, teaching them how to work. He loved the outdoors. He loved to play sports. Anything that revolved around his family, the outdoors, is what my brother loved.
Did he plan for his children's future?
Yes. So there's not a waking moment that my brother was not focused on his kids. So he had money set aside every single month to go into a fund so that by the time the kids got to college, they could pay for their college and hopefully have some left over for like a down payment on a house or something like that. He had every aspect planned. This is the kind of dad Eric was. So I told you we have a ranch. I love horses. My brother did too, but not quite as much as me. He liked ATVs a little bit better. So his oldest son, Carter, loved horses from the day he was born. He and I share that. So Eric tried to get Carter with me as much as possible on the horse because that's what Carter loved. I would ride the horse with my little nephew in front of me, and my brother would be to the side of me with an ATV with food, snacks, anything that Carter needed. He would have it right there so that Carter didn't have to get off the horse because he wanted Carter to be able to do whatever he wanted. And if Carter would fall asleep, which he would sometimes, Eric would take him into the side-by-side, hold him until he woke up, bring him right back up to me, put him back on the horse, and let him go the rest of the day.
Have you ever observed Eric sick or injured?
Yes. So my brother and I are very close. And so when he was an adult, he played sports all growing up. But when he was adult, he liked to play adult softball. He did get hit a few times. He got hit by a ball, and these games would go till like midnight, 1 o'clock. He would call me at 1 o'clock in the morning if he got hit to tell me my leg hurt. I don't know if something happened, if it is broken a little bit, if it's just bruised, and I would answer the phone no matter what time it was and say, hey, do you need me to come get you? What can I do to help you? And he'd be like, oh, I think I can toughen it out. I'll call you in the morning and let you know. But honestly, it didn't matter if he was in another country. He called me from other countries to tell me he didn't feel well. So if his mental or physical well-being was ever in question, he would call me.
Other than allergy medication, have you ever seen Eric use an over-the-counter drug?
The only thing I've ever seen him use is Advil.
Have you ever seen Eric use prescription drugs?
No.
Have you ever seen Eric use illicit drugs?
No. Growing up, my mom was a drug and alcohol counselor. She taught us the dangers of those, and really ingrained that in us.
Were you and Eric working on any future plans when he died?
Yes. So we were planning a trip to Disneyland that year to take our kids. He also has a child. His middle child, Ashton, is extraordinary in math. We were finding programs to get Ashton enrolled in that summer for coding so that we could kind of harness that math. He was only 7 at the time, but he's just outstanding. So we had just barely gone to the zoo together. We kind of just planned our lives together. We talked all the time.
Are you familiar with the home that Eric lived in when he died?
Yes, I owned it and I sold it to my brother.
Scott, if you can bring up 1-1, please, for Your Honor, for everybody but the jury. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
Is that the home that you
Yes.
sold to Eric and he lived in?
Yes.
Is it an accurate depiction of that home?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit 1-1.
No objection.
1-1 is admitted. Bear with me. There you go.
Where, Miss Richins-Benson, is that home located?
That is in Francis, Utah.
And is it, it looks like it's on a cul-de-sac. Is it on a cul-de-sac?
Correct. It's on a cul-de-sac.
When did you sell him the home?
In the latter part of 2012.
Had you been to the home regularly between then and when Eric died?
Yes.
Do you know how many homes are on that cul-de-sac today?
So on that cul-de-sac, there's 7 homes with driveways that go into that road and cul-de-sac.
And do you know how many homes and roads were on, homes and driveways were on that cul-de-sac in 2019?
Yeah, all the homes were built out by 2016.
Thanks, Scott. Scott, can you bring up 4-1? Can you scroll through it, please? Ma'am, do you recognize that document?
Yes, this is my brother's prenuptial agreement with Kouri.
And how do you recognize it?
I saw it the day they signed it. So on the day of his wedding is when they both signed it, and I read through it with him on the day of his wedding.
Your Honor, state moves to admit 4-1.
No objection.
4-1's admitted.
I'm going to leave it up there just for a minute for the jury, but I'm going to come back to that with them later. I'm not going to
Okay.
discuss that with you, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Scott. I would like to turn now to the morning that Eric died. Did there come a time in the early morning of March 4th, 2022, that you received a phone call about Eric?
Yes, it was early in the morning.
Who called you?
My dad did.
What did he say?
It's not easy. He was screaming and crying and said, "Eric's not breathing, Eric's not breathing."
Where were you when you received that call?
So my daughter was sick. She was only 3 at the time, and she'd just thrown up. I had taken her out of her room and brought her into my room, and I had just set her on the bed, and my husband had gone into the room to check on my other daughter that was a little bit older to make sure she was okay. I had just set her on the bed, and I had my phone with me. I set it on the bed, and I saw my dad calling, and I picked up and said, "Dad, how did you know I was up with my sick little girl?" And he started, whew, that's when he said, "Eric's not breathing, Eric's not breathing." I screamed. I fell to the floor. My husband heard me and came running in, and I was screaming, "He's not breathing." My husband thought that it was my daughter since she had just thrown up. So he ran over to her and said, "She's okay, Katie, she's okay." And I said, "No, it's Eric." And so I picked up my daughter that was right there. My husband went and got my other baby out of bed, and we ran out of the house.
Did you go to Eric's house?
Yeah, we went straight to my brother's house.
Who was there when you arrived?
Sorry, guys. bunch of emergency personnel, police officers, and Kouri and her mom, Lisa, were there.
Did you see the boys?
That was one of the first things I did, was try to find my nephews. They were in Ashton's room. I don't know how to orient you guys to the house. So as you walk in, Carter's room was to the right, and then you walk down a hall, and Ashton's room was the first room on the left, then it was Weston's room, then a bathroom, and then my brother's room. So the boys were located in Ashton's room. So there were police everywhere, there was EMS. I didn't know everything that was going on, but I didn't want the boys right there where everyone was. There's police right outside their door. So I went and got them and took them upstairs. So in my brother's house, you go up some stairs, and over the garage, there's a bonus room. And they had everything in there. They had a TV, a Nintendo, all their toys in there. So I took them up there because I didn't want them by all the hustle and bustle of all the police and everything. So I took them up there, got them situated, then ran outside to my car to get my husband and my 2 daughters so that my husband could watch the boys and make sure that they were okay.
We'll talk more about the boys that day.
Okay.
Were you able to observe Kouri Richins that morning?
Yes, I did.
When you walked into the home, what were your immediate observations of her?
So like I had told you, we had gone on plenty of family vacations together. Kouri had been on the family vacations with us. I walked in, I kind of flung through the door, and I saw Kouri standing on the other side of the staircase. She just shook her head at me. Sorry guys, bear with me, I apologize. And I knew right then my brother was gone. And I fell to the floor. She stayed over there. I observed that she was not how she normally was when we would go on overnights. She was very well put together. She had a matching pajama-esque outfit on. Her hair was all done up. She wasn't crying like I was. She wasn't hysterical. Just stood there and shook her head no at me.
What, if anything, did you observe about Kouri Richins' interactions that morning with her boys?
There weren't any until later in the morning. So, like I told you, my husband stayed up with the boys. I went up and down. My sister came up and down. A few people came up and down to check on the boys. I did not see her go up and check on the boys. And I repeatedly asked her, when can we tell the boys? I think we need to tell the boys. I kept coming down saying, I think the boys need to know. It wasn't until they wheeled my brother's body out, and I stood by the stairs, at the top of the stairs, to make sure my nephews didn't come out to see, because we didn't want it to see, and my husband was in the room with them. So they wheeled my brother's body out. My husband did his best. My daughter was throwing up, and he was trying to block it from the boys so that they didn't see my brother being wheeled out. The boys did see my brother being wheeled out. My husband came out and told me that they were upset. And so we walked down and talked to Lisa, Kouri's mom, and Kouri again, and I said, the boys are really upset. They just saw Eric wheeled out. I think we need to tell them. And Lisa said, I guess we better. And Kouri said, yep, bring him down. So then we brought him down, and that's the first I saw her interact with him.
Were you there when Kouri Richins told her sons that their father had died?
Yes, so my husband and I brought the kids down. We're sitting on a couch, and in my brother's living room, they have a couch that kind of goes like this, like kind of curves around. So my husband was sitting on the edge with our daughters. I was sitting next to them. Weston, my brother's youngest, that was 5 at the time, was sitting in between me and Kouri. Kouri was on the other side, and then the other 2 boys were in front of us.
And what did she say?
She let them know that their dad would not be coming back, that he was gone.
Just like that?
Yes, to my recollection.
Did there come a time shortly after that when she spoke alone with her middle son, Ashton?
Yeah, so right after she told the kids, Ashton got upset and went to his room. So his room was that room that they had been in. I went and checked on Ashton multiple times, and I remember him on his bed. He was on his bed with his covers pulled up, and I sat on the bed and I tried to console him, but he wanted his mom. I tried so hard to console him, but he wanted his mom. So I came out and told Kouri that Ashton was very upset and I thought she should go in. Took me a couple times of coming out to tell her, and I finally came out and I said, Kouri, I'm not his mom. I'm not his dad. He just lost his dad. He's very upset. I cannot console him. Can you please come in and talk to him? So she came into the room to talk to him. He got out of bed and ran to her. So they met kind of in the middle of the room. They held on to each other and then sat down on the floor, and I sat right next to him.
What did they discuss?
She was just consoling him, so just trying to get him to calm down. Right, that with Ashton, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
What did they discuss?
They're on the-
She was just trying to console him.
Did they discuss Eric's Apple Watch?
They discussed Eric's Apple Watch later.
Okay, so we'll get to that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Did there come a time when Kouri Richins was consoling Ashton there and she was interrupted?
Yes. So, Brianne Sorensen, which I believe was Ronnie, Kouri's brother's fiance at the time, I think they were engaged at the time, she came in to talk to Kouri. It was really interesting because Kouri was consoling, and then she immediately kind of stopped and focused on, they would call her Bree. And Bree started talking about the closing of the Midway Mansion.
Did you say, Your Honor?
Do we need to go into that, Mr. Bloodworth? I guess what I'm saying is anything further regarding that necessary to develop the upcoming testimony?
Your Honor, the state's next question will be, how did Kouri react?
Oh, okay, yeah, sustained. What Bree said is not admissible, don't consider it.
Well, Your Honor, the content of the call, the content of the discussion.
Well, Kouri's side of it is not what they're objecting to. I think it's just that fact. Am I right, Ms. Nestor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
We're objecting to what Bree said.
Take it from there. I understand the contours here. Let's just wait for the next question.
Okay. How did Kouri react to what Bree said?
Kouri was very businesslike, very telling Bree exactly what to do, and I was dumbfounded. And I looked at Kouri and said, you can't tell me you're going to close on that Midway Mansion when my brother just died. And she looked at me matter of fact and said, yeah, Absolutely. He has nothing to do with it. The money's already gone through. It's all my business. I'm going to.
What about the Apple Watch?
So the Apple Watch, Ashton, once he eventually came out of his room, he went and got my brother's Apple Watch. Kouri was standing by him. She took it from him and he said, "I want my dad's watch." So I watched her take the watch, delete the entire watch, everything off of it, and then give it back to Ashton.
On the morning that Eric died, did Kouri Richins say anything about the house that they were living in?
Yes, she told me, so the house, the 282 Willow Court that they were living in with their kids, she told me she was going to sell it.
Did anything about that strike you as odd?
Yes, I honestly could not function. I couldn't even figure out like what was for dinner that night. I had just lost one of the most important people in my whole entire life. And she was planning on selling the house that he had just been wheeled out of, closing on a multi-million-dollar mansion. I could not wrap my head around it.
The point that Eric died, who did the house belong to?
When Eric died, the house belonged to Eric. Eric was the trustee of his trust. So the house was in a trust and Eric was the trustee.
And then once he died, who became the trustee?
I became the trustee.
After Eric died, did Kouri Richins have the ability to sell the house?
No, she did not.
That morning, did Kouri Richins say anything about Eric's stonemasonry business?
Yes. She had a plan for how she was going to run his stonemasonry business. She was going to hire one of his best friends. His name is TJ. TJ worked for Eric's business partner's dad and had grown up working with Eric and Eric's business partner Cody and Cody's family in their family business, and he still worked with Cody's dad Shannon. So she said that she was going to hire TJ to run Eric's portion of the business for her and that he would take care of all of it.
So am I right that the morning of Eric's death, Kouri Richins told you her plans on purchasing the Midway Mansion, selling the home she lived in, and running Eric Richins' business?
Correct.
Do you recall a family meeting that was held on March the 5th, 2022, the day after Eric died?
Yes, I do.
What was the purpose of that meeting?
It was to start preparing for the services for Eric.
And who participated in the meeting?
So myself, my husband, Clint, my sister was there, Amy, her husband, Andrew, my dad, Gene, his friend, Tisha, Kouri's brother, Ronald Darden, or Ronnie, as they call him, her half-brother, DJ, her, I believe Bree was there as well, his fiance, and then her mother, Lisa.
Did you know Eric's wishes regarding burial,
Yes, my brother wanted to be buried.
as opposed to cremation?
Yes, my family is very big on burial and not cremation.
Did, in the course of that family meeting, the topic of cremation arise?
Yes, so we had gone through and planned the whole funeral. My brother would be buried by my mom. who the, where he would be buried at, who the pallbearers would be, everything to like who would talk, who would say prayers, stuff like that. And at the very end, when I thought we kind of had it all wrapped up, Lisa Darden, Kouri's mother, said, "When are we going to talk about that Eric wanted to be cremated?"
Did you observe Kouri react to her mother raising cremation?
Yes, I did. She looked shocked, like she was caught off guard at first. And then she went into it and said, "Oh yeah, he told me that he didn't want any bugs crawling on him after he was dead. It freaked him out, so we're cremating him." And I went on to ask, I said, "Kouri, why did we just do a whole entire funeral based around the casket, the burial, the pallbearers, sorry, excuse me, and now you're just bringing up cremation?" And she played it off and said, "Oh, well, isn't that what you do when you cremate them?" And to that point I said no, and then my dad started getting visibly upset because he knew his son wanted to be buried.
I need to take care of some business with handwriting samples now, okay?
Okay.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Of course.
I'm handing the witness 8-49. Ms. Richins-Benson, are you familiar with that exhibit?
Yes, I am.
Generally, what is it?
So these are all handwriting samples from my brother, whether it be when he signed his name for stuff at work or for his will, any of that stuff.
Can you please just thumb through each of the tabs? I think, is there 14 of them?
16.
16?
Do I have to pay super close attention or am I okay?
No, I just want to make sure you know what they are.
Okay.
You've seen them before?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Okay, if you're comfortable that you've seen them before, there's no need to slip.
Yeah.
For K1, did you get those documents from the lender on the 282 Willow Creek Road property?
Correct.
And are they accurate copies of what you received from the lender?
Yes.
Did you then submit those to the Bennett Tueller law firm?
Correct.
On K2, did you receive those haircut receipts from Kouri Wright?
Yeah. So they are also receipts from like Wasatch Steel, different. I know there is a haircut one in here, but yeah,
Okay,
they're
did
all
you
different
receive those
receipts.
receipts
Yeah.
from Kouri Wright?
Yeah.
Did you provide them to Bennett Tueller?
Yes, I did.
Can you turn please to K3 or tab 3? Under that tab, did you receive some tax documents from Greg White, some payroll documents from Integrated Solutions, and a hunting license?
Yes, these are all my brother's documents.
And did you submit those under tab 3 to Bennett Tueller?
Yeah. Only one I'm not 100% sure about is the hunting license, if I submitted that or not. I can't remember that one.
Okay. On K4, did you receive the check there from Allison, right?
Correct.
And did you get the loan documents on K4 from the lender on the 282 Willow Creek Road property?
Yes.
Did you submit those documents to tab 4 to Bennett Tueller?
Yes.
Tab 5, did you retrieve that driver's license from the mortuary that Eric's body was taken to?
Yes.
And did you submit that to Bennett Tueller?
Yes.
For tab 7, skipping 6, going to 7, Did you receive those various construction contracts from Kouri Wright?
Yes.
And then did you give them to Bennett Tueller?
Correct.
For K11, did you obtain those healthcare records from IHC? Was
Yes.
that Intermountain Health something?
Yeah, Intermountain Healthcare.
Got it.
IHC's their old branding.
Did you submit those to Bennett Tueller?
Yes, I did.
For K12, did you receive copies of those checks and C&E business records from Allison Wright?
Yes.
And did you give them to Bennett Tueller?
Yes, I did.
For K13, there's some materials from a Ford dealership. Did you receive those from your husband, Clint Benson?
Yes.
And did you submit those to Bennett Tueller?
Yes.
Finally, for K14, is that a document from Weller Recreation Center that you received from your father?
Yes.
And did you give that to Bennett Tueller?
Yes, I did.
And did you give everything to Bennett Tueller in the same identical condition that you received it in?
Yes.
Thank you. Ma'am, I don't have any further questions from you at the moment.
Okay.
The defense attorneys probably will, okay? Thank you.
Your Honor, excuse me. This is going to be a fairly lengthy cross. It's going to go past noon. I don't know if you want to break now or if you want me to just plow in and then we'll break in the middle.
Will you approach for a minute?
Yes, sir.
Folks, have a seat. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. We'll proceed with cross-examination of Ms. Richins-Benson. Then we'll take a lunch break. Thank you for your patience. Ms. Nestor, take it away.
May it please the court. Good morning.
Good morning.
We've never officially been introduced, but I know we've seen each other a whole lot. But again, my name's Kathy Nestor, and I'm one of Kouri's attorneys. So I want to talk to you about, I want to go back a couple of years before Eric passed. You mentioned in your direct testimony that you are the trustee of a trust that Eric created. Is that right?
Correct?
And may I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Of course.
I'm handing you a document that's been marked as IMP KRB1.
Okay.
Take just a second and look at that document and tell me if you recognize it. I certainly don't expect you to read the whole thing, but just tell me if you know what that is.
Sorry, I just want to make sure.
Sure, no worries. Take your time.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
So do you recognize that document?
Yes.
What is that document?
It's the Eric Richins Living Trust.
And is that the trust that you were referring to in your direct examination?
When
When Mr. Bloodworth was questioning you?
with the house.
Yes.
Yes, this is the trust.
And that's the document that makes you the trustee if Eric should pass away.
Correct.
All right. Your Honor, at this point, I'd like to introduce this as Defense Exhibit 3001. On the impeachment, we're going to start it with the number 3.
Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, no objections to the admission of the document. The state, of course, is going to admit it, I plan to admit it through the witness that prepared it. The state's just pausing on the nomenclature. We've referenced this document in other briefings by other exhibit numbers, which,
We can resolve that going forward. We can come up with a common vernacular at some point.
right.
Okay.
Okay, but as to admission, no objection.
So just so the record is clear, if anybody ever has to read this, the Eric Richins Living Trust dated November 3rd, 2020 is admitted.
All right, and that's going to be Exhibit 3001, Your
For
Honor.
the time being.
Yes.
We'll see if we come
Change
up with
it.
a different vernacular going forward.
That's fine. Okay, can you turn for me to section 1.03 of the trust?
And Ms. Nestor, will you
Yes.
let me know when you're ready to publish whatever you want to publish to the
I
jury?
will, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you see that? Does that list the objectives of the trust? Just to refresh your memory, let me know when you're finished reviewing it.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry, what
That
was your
refresh
question
your
again?
memory a little
Yeah.
bit? So is it fair to say that Eric's objective, as put in writing in the very beginning of this big old trust document, was to provide for both my wife and our children during any time I am incapacitated and after my death?
That's what's in there, yes.
So it's,
Ron, I'm sorry. Can we publish
Yep.
this to the jury?
Sure.
We're seeing it on our screens, but the jury's not.
Yeah, she didn't ask me
can
to.
you
that's fine.
publish?
Would you like to?
Yes, sir, thank
Okay.
you. That would be helpful. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right. And you agree that it was your understanding that this trust would provide for both Kouri and the boys? Is that
Yeah.
right?
It would provide for the beneficiaries, and those four are the beneficiaries.
And Kouri was a beneficiary of this trust.
She was a beneficiary of the trust.
And that's what Eric wanted.
I think the document
Your
speaks
Honor,
for itself.
objection.
Yeah.
I'll withdraw, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, so basically there was as trustee, what is your understanding of your role as trustee? What is your role?
It's to administer the trust,
And what does that mean to you?
so to carry out my brother's wishes.
And with respect to the reality of that, there's a trust that holds assets. Is that your understanding? It holds his assets, whatever they are.
Correct?
And that includes cash and money and items, right?
Yes.
And you're supposed to see over that money and those assets
Correct, as the trustee.
and protect them, right?
Correct.
And distribute them to the beneficiaries as needed throughout their lifetime.
Based on what the trust says.
And that's your understanding of kind of your job, right?
Correct.
And as trustee, you get paid.
No.
You're not taking a fee.
So my brother did put in the trust that I could be paid and I could reimburse myself for the time spent. I have never once been paid for the time that I spent. So I chose not to.
That's very generous of you, and that's because you want those boys to get everything they can, I'm sure.
I want all the beneficiaries to get everything they're entitled to.
Okay, thank you. So let's say 2 months after Eric died, Kouri wanted to buy a car. She could do that, but she would have to ask you first, right? As the trustee.
Can you reframe that? So with money from the trust,
Yes.
she wants to buy the car?
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of litigation. So she did a lawsuit 3 weeks after my brother passed to try to set aside the trust.
Okay.
So there's a lot of litigation. So I would work with my attorneys to figure out what was proper.
Let me ask it this way. What is your understanding of what, if there was no litigation, what you as the trustee of the trust, were meant to do if one of the beneficiaries needed some money, if one of the boys wanted to go to private school, if Kouri wanted to buy a car? What was the process from your understanding?
So the trust was actually just split into two separate trusts. One for his 3 boys, who are the primary beneficiaries, and then another trust for Kouri. And you'll have to forgive me, I don't have the whole thing memorized.
Oh, of course not.
But it said in there what the money could be used for.
All right, so if Kouri wanted to spend some money out of the trust that was authorized in your opinion under the trust, it would be your job to say, yes, here is the money, and give her a check, right?
Correct.
And one of the things the trust authorized was care and maintenance of their home. Is that right?
So that the home is a trust asset.
Okay. So if the house needed repair, the trust could pay for that.
Correct.
If the trust could pay for the mortgage payments,
Correct.
the trust could pay for insurance on the house.
Correct.
So in the year after Eric died, how much money did Kouri ask you for to pay for anything related to the house, to her, to anything?
Pause for 1 second.
Okay.
Your Honor, objection in reference to the discussion we just had.
Exceeds the scope.
Yes.
Sustained.
Okay. Did the trust pay any mortgage payments on the home after Eric died?
Ms. Nestor, it's the same objection.
Okay.
Sustained.
Has the trust reimbursed family members for costs paid to a private investigator?
Pause for 1 second. Go ahead.
Same objection scope, Your Honor.
We're well outside the scope of direct, Ms. Nestor. Sustained.
Right. Can I approach?
Sure. Nestor, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just 1 minute, I'm trying to comply with your ruling. Just give me 1 second, because I think there's another topic that I'm gonna have to save for a direct. Yeah, I think so. All right. All right, I want to talk to you about the day of Eric's death. You mentioned, I believe you mentioned that when you got there, Kouri looked put together.
Correct?
She was in pajamas. Is that right?
Like a matching sweatsuit.
She was in a matching sweatsuit.
Like sweatsuit, pajamas. I don't know the technical,
Okay.
what they were sold as.
And you
sorry.
said her hair was fixed?
It was pulled up.
It was pulled up in a messy bun? Is that what you recall?
But yeah, it was pulled up, neatly done.
Her hair was neatly done, that's what you recall?
Yeah, looked similar to today, just on top of her head.
And you also said that you went to the ground and she just stood there and did not comfort you in any way?
Not that I recall.
Okay, Katie, can you please, just for the witness only, Your Honor, we'd like to play a clip. This is State's Exhibit 1-4.
Pause 1 second. Does this have sound? It won't now.
Doesn't have sound, I don't think.
Okay.
So only for her to review.
Well, hold on a second. It's real hard for me to do only the witness.
Oh,
Can
I
we
mean
do-
the witness and counsel.
Okay.
Sorry.
Mr. Bloodworth.
It's S1-4.
Donna,
Of course. One minute, folks. Thank you. Ms. Nestor, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Good afternoon, Ms. Richins-Benson. So when we took a break, I had confirmed with you that it's your recollection that Kouri had a sweatsuit, a matching sweatsuit, and fixed hair, and that she did not comfort you when you fell to the ground. Is that correct?
To my recollection.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to watch a clip from that morning that was taken off of an officer's body cam and see if you can confirm that that's in fact you and Kouri that morning. Katie, can you play it? Is that you in the clip?
Yes, that's me.
Okay. Your Honor, at this point, I'd move to admit as exhibit maybe 3001 for now. The clip.
3002.
I'm sorry, 3002?
Yeah.
3002, that's correct.
Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, no objection to admission. We'll figure out nomenclature later.
Sounds good.
And
Okay.
just for the purpose of the jury, just a short explanation that we will supplement this with a blurred version, but for now, there's just a black box over where the children's photos are, since it's being played publicly. But that'll, if it goes back to the jury room, that box will be removed and the pictures will just be blurred.
You can play the clip.
Thanks, Katie. All right, so as you're watching this clip, there's an officer there, but that's Kouri right there, right? And she's squatting down to hug you. Is that right? Katie, could you play that
Sorry.
again?
I'm sorry, this is hard with two Katies.
There
I'm-
are two Katies. I'm sorry. I'll call you Ms. Richins-Benson. How about
Okay,
that?
thank you.
Okay. Okay, so that's Kouri. Freeze it right there, Katie Nestor. Okay, and that hair right there, that's what you're saying she had fixed? Just her hair up and messy like that?
Yeah, as you can see, mine was down and messy and didn't have contacts in anything.
Sure. So both of you had messy hair, and she's also clearly wearing pajamas. Does that refresh your memory that she was not in a sweatsuit? She was in pajamas.
I am not a fashionista, so to me that's a sweatsuit or pajamas, just to be honest.
Okay, and then keep playing, Miss Nestor. And that's her squatting down to comfort you while you're on the ground, and that's y'all hugging, right?
Correct.
So your memory about that was clearly wrong.
To be fair, it was 4 years ago.
Okay. And everything you're testifying about here about that morning was 4 years ago, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. You can take that down, Katie. Thank you. Other Katie. And shortly after this scene where Kouri hugs you, and obviously everyone's completely understandably upset, was there a time where you went out into the driveway and spoke with an investigating officer that morning?
And on Kouri Richins' phone,
I went and spoke to an investigator in their car.
following
out
three
front of the
images
house.
are
Okay,
accessed.
maybe not in the driveway. Might have been in front of the house.
Correct.
Your Honor, objections.
Your Honor, she's testified about her memory of that morning. This happened that morning.
I'll give you a limited latitude here.
Thank you. And who was the officer that you spoke to?
Detective Woody, I believe.
All right. And that was just to help, because there's so many officers that are going to testify in front of this jury. It's a female officer, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when you talked to Officer Woody, or I think she was a detective then, did you tell her that you believed Kouri was involved in your brother's death?
No.
Did you tell the officer that you were suspicious that Kouri may have been involved in your brother's death?
Pause there.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm going to allow her to answer that question, then we'll have a conversation.
Sure.
Go ahead, you can answer that. I'm sorry.
I let her know that Kouri had stolen money from my brother, and I thought she needed to know that.
And what else did you think she needed to know at that moment?
I left at that moment to go
didn't-
back in the house.
You didn't tell her
My
anything
recollection.
else?
My recollection is that I told her that Kouri had taken money from my brother, quite a lot of money, and that there was tension.
And what did you tell the officer was the reason for the tension?
May I have a quick conversation with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
My apologies, counsel. In an interruption, folks. Ms. Nestor, please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. And now I forgot where I was, so let me think about it again. We were talking about what you asked the what you said to the police officer when you were outside. And this is before that police officer has ever entered the house, right? This is your first time to see this officer.
I'm not sure.
Okay. And you felt it was important that this officer know that your sister-in-law had a motive? What was your reason for telling the officer that information?
I had an overwhelming feeling come over me that I should let someone know.
Why? What was your overwhelming feeling?
That I should let someone know.
Because you believed it was suspicious? The death?
Honestly, at that time, I had no idea what was going on. I just had an overwhelming feeling. I had just barely talked to my brother. He was fantastic. When I talked to him just a couple hours before, I had an overwhelming feeling I should tell someone about this, so I did.
Because you thought Kouri was behind it.
I did not say that.
Did you tell the officer that Kouri had a reason to be upset with Eric because she had found out about your being a trustee over the assets before he passed?
No, not to my recollection.
You didn't mention being the trustee of a trust to this officer?
I knew that I was the trustee of the trust.
Did you share that with the officer?
Maybe. There's a potential.
So you can't remember.
Just give me a second. It's
Sure. Take your time.
I mean, I did know that I was the trustee, so I definitely could have shared that with her.
And did you share with the officer that Kouri had been upset with your brother about that before he passed?
No,
So if an
not to
officer,
my recollection.
if an officer says you said that, that would be wrong. Or you're just not sure.
The questions are a little difficult. They're really vague. So not to my knowledge.
Okay. You mentioned that Kouri's son asked if he could have his dad's watch. Is that right?
Correct.
And you mentioned that Kouri just reset the watch and gave it to him.
Correct.
So Kouri didn't go through the watch trying to pick certain things out to delete, right?
I just watched her swipe it and give it to him, or delete it and give it to him.
If she hadn't swiped it, and I'm not an Apple Watch person, so maybe you know this better than I do, but that would have meant her son could read everything her husband had ever put on his iPhone, right?
I'm not an Apple Watch person either, so I can't answer that for
Is
you.
it your understanding the watches match the phone, basically?
Mine doesn't always, so, but again, I'm not an Apple person, so I can't tell you.
Do you agree there could be a lot of reasons why a mother would not want a young child to have access to everything his adult father had saved on his phone?
In a hypothetical, yes, I guess.
Okay. You also mentioned that Kouri told you that morning that she was going to sell the house.
Correct. She
And
did.
this is the house her husband had just died in.
Correct.
And she was pretty traumatized about her husband just dying in the house.
That I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
In their bedroom. Right?
What's the question? Sorry.
Do you think there's a lot of reasons why a widow would not want to continue to live in the bedroom where her husband died in front of her?
Honestly, I can see some people would and some people wouldn't.
Okay. You also mentioned just now, and also when you were on direct with Mr. Bloodworth, that you never knew your brother to use anything other than Advil. Is that right?
When he asked what I had seen him take, correct.
Okay. Are you aware that your brother did use other substances?
After his death, from his medical records that I got, it said that he occasionally took it for back pain.
Took what?
THC,
Okay. Which is marijuana.
marijuana.
So when he was alive, he didn't share with you that he used marijuana, did he?
Not directly, no.
And you talked about your mom, which I think is great, was a drug and alcohol counselor.
Correct.
And that it was important to her that your family not be engaged with the use of drugs when she was alive.
No, I said prescription medication.
Okay. So your brother knew that it was important to your family. Sobriety was an important thing to your family.
I'll be honest with you, my mom was not against marijuana use.
Okay. But you said you were?
I said prescription medication earlier.
Okay. But for whatever reason, your brother didn't share with you during his lifetime that he used marijuana.
No.
And I know you were here during the opening statement, Your Honor. You saw this slide of all those gummies that were seized from Eric's. You didn't know that was in his house. He didn't share
I knew
with
that Kouri had some in there. He had shared that with me.
you, but he didn't tell you he did.
No.
Okay. And you also, did you know that your brother drank alcohol?
I knew that he socially drank, but he was responsible.
And he chose not to do that in front of you. Is that fair?
Correct.
And it's also fair and totally understandable that your brother's not going to talk about his sex life with you.
He actually did.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Did your brother share with you that he was taking testosterone?
Yes, he did.
And you knew that?
Yes. And
Did, I'll strike that. Did you go through your brother's phone ever?
no,
The morning after he passed, was there a period of time where you saw your sister Amy with his phone?
she did have his phone.
And how long did she have his phone in her possession?
Honestly, I wasn't watching Amy very close, so I can't tell you.
Okay. Did you ever have his phone that day?
No.
Your Honor, stay within the scope. Objection.
Same morning, Your Honor.
Let's keep moving. The objection is overruled as to that last question.
Did, that morning after Eric died, did you ever, well, let me ask it this way. When you arrived at the house, had the police cordoned off any portion of the house and said you could not enter it?
There was someone at the hall, and they said that you weren't supposed to go back down the hall. So-
Once they removed your brother's body from the scene, and I know that was traumatic and I'm sorry, once they removed his body, were you allowed to go anywhere in the house you wanted?
Yeah.
And did you see the police searching the kitchen?
Yes.
All right. What
Just
did you,
the garbage in the kitchen, that was all.
that was the only thing you saw them search for,
Mhm.
was the garbage?
Yeah, I wasn't around them all the time, so I don't know what else they did.
Okay, that's fair. At any point that morning, did you hear Kouri being interviewed by police?
No.
So you weren't present when they questioned her about what happened that night?
No.
Did Eric share with you that he had used hydrocodone in the past, like in that pill bottle that we saw on the screen?
So Eric and I had talked about that. So that pill bottle on the screen, it was old. It was 2016, right?
Right.
Because Eric had a procedure, but Eric did not want to use much of it. So actually, Eric and I had several conversations. When his back hurt and everything, I actually set him up with an acupuncturist and everything so that he didn't have to use any. So
Let me stop
It
you
was-
right there, just 1 minute.
Okay.
Let's just break it down.
okay.
So you knew that he had used hydrocodone in the past for pain?
He did not like to, but if it was extreme,
He did use it?
yeah, but he would never like take the whole finish the
And-
prescription.
And, well, as far as you knew.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew that he had back pain?
Correct.
And you knew it because you're the person that he would go to when he was in pain.
Correct.
And you helped him try to find an acupuncturist for his pain?
Yeah, he went to an acupuncturist.
How often did he do that?
I set up the appointments. They actually helped really quickly. So he went to a couple appointments I can't give you the exact amount, but
And when... Okay, I'll strike that. You also talked about the prenuptial agreement
correct.
that you saw Kouri sign at their wedding, is that right?
I saw it before she signed it.
Right. And is it true that in the prenuptial agreement that Kouri knew that if something happened to Eric, she would not recover, she wasn't entitled, she surrendered, let me ask it this way. Were you aware that as part of the prenuptial agreement, she was surrendering any claim on his business of C&E?
Your Honor, objection. The prenup's into evidence. It says what it says. I don't think that's an accurate characterization.
I can rephrase.
The question is about what Ms.
She
Richins-Benson understood.
That's what I was
And
gonna
so
say.
you will be able to point out later whether her understanding matches the text or not.
So was it your understanding that she was surrendering any claim to his business at C&E in the prenuptial agreement?
Only if they divorced. If he died, then she would get the business while they were still married.
Okay. But if he died, once you became trustee, you were aware that his business would actually go into the trust, not to her, correct?
The business is a trust asset. His partnership is in the trust.
Okay. And that was done before he passed.
Correct.
And again, you don't recall telling the officer that Kouri was upset about that prior to the officer coming in the house?
No.
Okay. The morning that you were there, was there any period of time where you were in the garage?
Yes, I went into the garage.
And what was your purpose for going into the garage?
A medical examiner or some medical person, had asked me, do you know if Eric took any kind of pill today, an allergy pill, anything? And I said, I'll go check his truck. I know he takes allergy pills, but I'll go check his truck. So I went to the garage to check his truck.
And when you were checking his truck, was there anyone back there with you?
Lisa Darden, her mom, and Bree, I think it's Swerenson, followed me.
Okay. And when you were in the truck, how long were you in his truck?
Not long at all.
Okay. When you got there, was Amy in the truck?
No.
At some point, did you see Amy in the truck?
No, not to my recollection.
Okay. All right. You also mentioned that Kouri mentioned to you when she said that she was going to sell the house. I believe Mr. Bloodworth asked, could she have sold the house? And you said the answer was no. Is that right?
Correct?
And the reason the answer is no is because why?
Because the house was not Kouri's asset. It was in Eric's trust. Her name was not on the deed, anything like that.
But she was his spouse under the law, right? Right?
She was his spouse under the law, yeah.
And she had a marital interest in the house, right?
Now that's all in civil court. I can't.
Sustained.
Objection, Your Honor. Call for legal.
Yeah.
Sustained.
Okay. All right, now I want to talk about before the body was removed. Were you present or did you have an understanding about where they were going to take the body?
No.
Did you hear a conversation or were you a part of a conversation that discussed that there was going to be an autopsy?
I know I heard that day that they were taking him for an autopsy.
Okay. So before he even left the house, there was discussion that he was going to be autopsied. I think that's a verb. I'm not sure.
I can't tell you if it was before or after.
But there was a discussion in the house about it. You all knew it.
That they would take him for an autopsy? Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the conversation that you testified about where there was a discussion about cremation or burial with Kouri's mom.
Correct.
At that point, the autopsy was over, right?
I don't know when the autopsy was over.
When was that conversation?
That conversation was on the 5th.
So 2 days after he passed. And where was the body at that time, to your knowledge? I'm so sorry. I thought you were finished. I apologize.
Okay.
The
Okay,
question
can you
was
ask?
on the 5th.
Yeah, it was on the 5th when we talked about the burial.
So 2 days after they'd removed, or 1 day, I'm sorry.
1 day.
After
Yeah.
they'd removed his body from the house.
Correct.
So when you were having that conversation, where was your understanding of where the body was?
It would have been in one or two places, either at the medical examiner's office or at the mortuary.
So bear with me then. At the point that his remains were finally interred, either through cremation or burial, that autopsy already would have happened, correct?
Honestly, I remember talking to the mortuary. They were watching to see when it was done. They said that it could take a couple days because it was later. So I can't tell you if it was done or not. I can't
Let me ask
remember.
you this way. They weren't going to let you bury him or cremate him until they'd finished that autopsy and released the body to the family, correct?
I mean, I would assume so, but I've never dealt with this with the medical examiner's office, so.
And once you all had that conversation with Lisa and Kouri about whether he wanted to be buried or cremated, did Kouri agree to bury him?
It went back and forth for a little while.
And then did Kouri agree to bury him?
Yeah, we buried him.
That's right. the handwriting samples that Mr. Bloodworth asked you to identify, is it fair to say that you organized an effort to gather a bunch of signatures of Eric's to compare with the signature, another signature, to see if Kouri, do you believe Kouri forged his signature on something?
Yeah, it was for the civil lawsuit that we were going through. And yes, it was to see if that was his signature or not, because he had told me he did not sign it.
And you personally took responsibility for that effort of gathering those signatures, correct?
So my duty as personal representative is to look into any claim that the estate may have. So yes, I did.
And you sent that information to the prosecution team in this case?
I did not personally send it, no.
Okay. You did hire an expert to look at it, right?
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
was-
I just told you that's my fiduciary duty as a representative of my brother, so over his estate, to look into any claims that the estate has.
And who was the expert that you hired to look at those handwriting samples?
His last name's Throckmorton.
And it's Matthew Throckmorton?
I only ever met him once. I think his first name's Matthew, yeah.
And you guys paid him a fee to do that?
I actually didn't pay him. My law firm did, but then it went on the bill, so I didn't directly pay him.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right. Handing you a document that's been marked INP KRB3.
Okay.
Do you recognize that document?
I actually do not. I have not seen this before.
Okay. Okay, I'll take it back. Thank you so much. Did you pay other experts in connection with this investigation?
I did.
Who were the other experts you hired? Was Brooke Carrington one of them?
Your Honor, objection, point of clarification. When she says this investigation, the
Yeah.
criminal investigation or the civil investigation?
Provide a little more foundation, please.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm happy to. Did the trust hire a woman named Brooke Carrington to do a financial investigation on Kouri
Yeah.
Richins?
It's really tricky. It would actually be the estate that did, not the trust that did.
Okay.
So Brooke Carrington worked for the estate.
And were you also in charge of the estate?
Correct. I am a personal representative for my brother.
And you personally paid Brooke Carrington?
Correct.
Okay, may I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
All right, I'm handing you another document asking if you've seen this before.
Yes.
KRB2. KRB2. What is that document?
So Brooke was a financial forensic accountant for us, looking into any claims that the estate would potentially have. So I paid her for her work on that.
And what is the amount that you paid Brooke Carrington?
$14,625.
And is that your signature on that check?
Yes.
Your Honor, I move to admit that as Exhibit 3003, Defense 3003.
No objection, Your Honor.
Defense 3003 is admitted.
Can we publish that to the jury, please?
Ready to go, Kitty? One moment. There you go.
Okay. What's the date on that check?
6/21 of 23.
All right. And are you aware if that was after Kouri had been charged with this crime?
Let me think of dates really quick. Yes, it was after, because once Kouri had been charged, Brooke quit working for us, so she sent a bill and I paid the bill once.
And why did she quit working for you?
She started working for the state and we hired a different forensic accountant to work for the estate.
And who provided her name to the state as a potential expert?
I'm not sure.
That wasn't you?
I actually never even talked to any of the prosecution or anything before that, so no, it was not me. I did not even know who they were.
I'm sorry, you said you hadn't talked to the prosecution prior to June of 2023?
Prior to her being arrested.
Let me clarify to make sure that I don't impeach you for something you're not meaning to say.
Oh, okay.
When you say the prosecution, you mean the actual people sitting at the table, not
Yeah.
their investigators.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, them.
Because
Yeah.
you had talked a lot to the investigators prior to Kouri being arrested.
I had talked to investigators. I had never talked to these guys.
Totally fair. I just didn't want to come after
Sorry,
you.
I did.
Nope.
The difference.
I wanted,
Thank you.
I wanted to be right. So to go back to that, you had talked a lot to the investigators that were investigating this case on the criminal side prior to Kouri being arrested.
I had talked to them.
And as a matter of fact, on March 21st of 2022, so before there was an official finding of Eric's cause of death, isn't it fair that you sent an email to the chief detective, the same one you talked to in the driveway or outside the house, with the timeline of everything suspicious that Kouri had done in the last multiple years?
I can't remember the exact dates.
Okay, let me approach. May I approach, Your Honor?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. Counsel. I trust you folks. You can have leave to approach the witness as needed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, I'm showing you a document that's been marked as KRB6. Just take a second, as much as you need, and tell me if you recognize that document.
Yeah.
Okay, do you recognize that document?
Yes.
And is that the email that I was just talking about that you sent to Detective Woody on March 21st of 2022?
Correct.
And attached to that email is what you called a timeline, is that right?
Correct.
How many pages is that timeline you provided to Detective
know.
Woody?
Nine, if I'm counting right.
Okay. And what was your purpose for sending that timeline to Detective Woody?
Because I'm not a detective. Eric's death was suspicious, so I wanted to get it to the professionals.
And everything in there is about Kouri, right?
No, not everything.
Did you identify anyone else you thought might have been involved in Eric's death in this timeline?
It talks about...
Well, don't read it because it's not in evidence, but you can just
Oh.
generally talk about the topics.
I know it talks about Lisa in there. I saw as I was flipping through it, it talks about Ronnie's fiance or girlfriend, Bree. Talks about a lot of different people.
All right, and that timeline goes back years probably. Is that fair? Does it start way before he died?
Yeah, 2016.
So you go all the way back to 2016 in the information you gave the investigators.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And then, do you remember shortly after that you did some investigation into Kouri's business online and forwarded that to an investigator? Do you remember doing that?
I did not personally do the investigation, but if you show it to me, I can definitely tell you.
Okay. All right. May I approach her? I forgot. Sorry. It's habit. That's federal court. I'm handing you, it's been marked for identification as KRB 11. See if that refreshes your memory a little bit. Is that your email address?
Correct, it is.
So that's you forwarding to the investigator background information on Kouri's businesses?
Correct.
All right. And then, do you also remember forwarding on March 28th to the same investigator reporting that Kouri had asked for her wedding ring back from the medical examiner and you thought that was suspicious? Remember doing that?
Can you show me the email
Sure.
again?
Showing you KRB 12 and see if that refreshes your memory a little bit.
Thanks. Not her wedding ring, my brother's.
I'm sorry, the ring that he wore.
Correct.
On his finger. And she was asking for it back, right?
Correct.
And you thought the detective should maybe test the ring, or you thought that was suspicious and you reported that?
Yeah.
Okay. Also in there you talk about ring cameras. Did you share ring camera information with the investigators?
I did not have the ring camera information.
Okay. Do you remember in May of 2022 suggesting with the officers, the investigating officer, that Kouri may have tried to kill your brother on Valentine's Day with
Yes.
a sandwich?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my brother talked to me about it.
Okay. As far as you know, had that information ever been imparted to them before you gave that to them?
I would have no way of knowing that.
Okay, fair. Did you also do some online sleuthing into her mom's Venmo and Susan Kohler's Venmo?
I did not personally.
Did you forward that information to the investigators to use in their
Can I see
investigation?
the
Sure.
email, please?
Yep. I'm showing you KRB 14 with an email dated April 25th. Does that look like your email address?
Correct.
Okay. So the answer is yes, you did that?
Yeah.
All right.
Your Honor, objection, misstates the email. There was no sleuthing into Susan
Yeah.
Kohler's Venmo. It was just into Lisa Darden's.
I'm sorry, it does mention Susan in there. You want to see it again?
Do you want to just show the jury what it says instead of just talking about it?
Sure. I move to admit the exhibit. And Katie, can you pull that up?
Any objection, Mr. Bloodworth?
No objection.
Okay. Give me the number one more time, Ms. Nestor.
It would be 3004.
Okay. So this will be D3004. This is, for the record, an April 25, 2022 email from an email address in bold print indicated as Richins-Benson. We'll publish it now.
Can you blow that up, please, so Jerry can see it? You see that there you were looking into two different people's Venmo accounts, Susan Kohler and Lisa Darden?
Yeah, those are the two people that are on there.
And you also investigated the background of Susan Kohler and shared that with the prosecutor?
I did not personally.
But you forwarded it?
Correct.
Okay. At some point, didn't you also get access to Kouri's banking records?
Not for a long time down the road.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor? Gosh, I'm gonna quit doing that, I swear.
What's up?
My brain is wired that way. I'm showing you a letter that's marked for identification as KRB 16. A letter dated November 7th of 2022, which was a few months after Eric died. Can you just read that for a minute and tell me if you remember that letter?
Honestly, I've never seen this before.
Okay, totally fair.
Do you want me to keep reading the whole thing?
If you can't identify it, that's
Okay.
fine. I thought you might have read it.
Uh-uh.
Do you remember being asked how you obtained Kouri's private bank records without her permission? Did anyone ever confront you about that?
I think we're talking about two different things. The only bank records or banking that we have received is through the litigation for the civil lawsuit when the trust was granted a constructive trust.
And
so
so
that's the only thing.
So in your role as trustee, you went about to get her private banking records?
No, it's all litigation and it's really hard for me to
Okay.
go through it. I mean, my lawyer's here. He can speak to it a lot better than I can.
Definitely don't want you to have to become one of us, so don't worry about it. You also had multiple interviews with the Summit County investigators. They came to your house once and interviewed you, is that right?
Correct.
And you also interviewed with Detective Woody, I think here or in this area, in this complex somewhere.
Correct.
And you also had multiple phone conversations with the prosecution, all this before Kouri was arrested. Is that right? I mean, we just looked at a bunch of emails.
Well, Dick, now we have to be more precise. Precision matters in this business.
Is it fair to,
The
I'll
prosecution
withdraw.
Is different. The prosecution may mean different things.
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor, I'm happy to.
Thank you.
It was a little confusing, so let me try that again. Is it fair to say you had regular communication with the investigators in the criminal case almost immediately after your brother's death, even before they got into the house and after?
I did talk to the detectives, yes.
Okay. Okay, just a minute. Were there occasions where you sent potential witness names and contact information to the investigators on the criminal side?
That was in the email you sent. There were some names.
Okay. Do you remember, oh, I'll strike that. Because you were the trustee of the home, you guys were in charge of, well, let me rephrase it this way. How long did Kouri stay in the house after her husband died?
Till her arrest, I believe, on May 8th of 2023.
So for that year, Kouri remained in the home with her boys, is that right?
Correct.
All right. After that, you became in charge of maintaining the home once Kouri was arrested, is that right?
I did before as well, too. I fixed water leaks, paid off the mortgage, stuff like that.
Right. And you fixed a water leak in that house on Willow Court?
Correct.
When was that?
It was in February. It was when it was January or February. There was a ton of snow on the ground, so I had to pay people to shovel all the snow to get down to it.
Okay. And that was Kouri and Eric's home?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, at the trust house.
Got it. I understand. During that time, were there times where law enforcement needed access to the house to search it?
Are you talking after?
After Kouri's arrest, sorry.
Yes, yes.
All right. About how many times did you guys have to provide access to law enforcement to search that house?
I don't know off the top of my head.
If I were to say around 10, 11 times, does that sound completely out of bounds or does that sound about right?
So I put my husband over all of that. So I'm not going to have the best knowledge of that.
So that would be your husband,
Correct.
right? But the private investigator that you guys hired answered to you, right? Not your husband?
He was hired by the estate,
So he communicated with you directly.
both me and my husband.
Did you give him unfettered access to the house?
No,
How many times would you say that investigator was in that house?
that's going to be better to ask my husband as well too. My husband went with him every time.
Totally fair. Did you guys have the video equipment set up inside the house?
Like cameras to
Yes.
monitor? Yeah, yeah.
When did you guys put that in there?
I apologize, but that is also better to ask my husband. He was over all of that.
All right. Court's indulgence for just a moment, Your Honor. Just a moment, Your Honor. I'm so sorry. Just one more moment. I'm almost done. You're almost there. You've done a good job. So do you remember when you retained Todd Gabler to investigate Kouri Richins?
The exact date, I can't remember. I think it was at the beginning of April
So-
of 2022. Could have been in March. I don't
Within a
have the
couple
exact
of
date
weeks.
with me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh,
I
sorry.
apologize.
No, yeah.
Within a couple of weeks of Eric's death.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
At some point, did you guys plan a celebration of life for Eric beyond the funeral, like a celebration of life?
No. Did
s-
I? No.
Yes.
No.
You weren't
We had-
involved in that?
No, we had that funeral.
Okay. And just one moment, I need to check one date. Hold on. What was the date of Eric's funeral?
I'm really sorry if I'm wrong, but I think it was let's see. I have to see a calendar. 'Cause I think it's March 11th.
So
I think.
within a week or so of his death, probably, give or take.
Yeah, it was quick after.
And wasn't there a celebration of life on April 1st? Do you remember that? Were you involved in that at all?
No. No.
Okay, totally fair. Ms. Richins-Benson, that is all we have. I'm sorry for your loss, and thank you for answering our questions.
Thank you.
Mr. Bloodworth, any redirect within the scope of cross?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Please.
Ms. Richins-Benson, you just discussed with,
That was my fault. I apologize. Just trying to get ahead of the game, Scott. I don't know what caused that, but let's avoid that in the future. Keep going, Mr. Bloodworth.
okay, Ms. Richins-Benson, you just testified in response to the defense questioning about a civil lawsuit.
Correct.
Did the civil lawsuits begin on March the 28th, 2022, about 3 weeks after Eric's death?
That is when it was filed. It was threatened very quickly after Eric's death.
And who filed the lawsuit?
Kouri did.
Against who?
Against me as trustee of the trust.
And to defend against that lawsuit on behalf of the trust,
Correct.
you employ Mr. Throckmorton, or your lawyers employ Mr. Throckmorton and Miss Carrington.
Correct.
And then Kouri Richins was arrested on May 8th, 2023.
Correct.
After May 8th, 2023, did the estate or the trust employ Mr. Throckmorton or Miss Carrington?
No.
The defense counsel asked you about a timeline where you presented certain information to the investigators, right? The
Correct.
detectives. And they referenced that information related to some financial information.
Correct.
Did that include your reporting that Eric went to get money from his bank and found an empty bank account?
Correct.
Did you also report that Kouri signed his signature on a $250,000 home equity loan against his house without his knowledge?
Correct. And that's what I told the detective that day.
And did you also tell them that Eric found multiple credit cards pulled in his name that he had nothing to do with?
Correct.
And that he talked to a divorce attorney?
At this point,
Correct.
We're gonna renew our 401, 403, 404B. I'm also stating for the record that I think he's now kicked the door wide open. I want to recross on all the things I would have had in my direct, because it all deals with this stuff.
You're gonna have to have a longer conversation about the last piece. Your
Okay.
401 and 402 objections are overruled.
And 404B. All the financial stuff that we've litigated already. I think I have to do it when he tries to put the evidence in.
I know, but please approach for a minute. Ms. Richins-Benson, do you still have some water?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Bloodworth, your next question, please.
Did you also provide the police with information on Eric meeting with a divorce attorney, Christina Miller?
Yes, correct.
And Eric meeting with a trust and estates attorney, Crystal Bowman Carter.
Yes, I did.
And did you provide the police with information about a separate house rented in Oakley, Utah?
Yes.
Did you provide the police with information about a change in life insurance beneficiaries?
Yes, I did.
Did you provide the police with information on friends of the defendants and Eric's that they should potentially interview?
Correct.
Did you provide the police with information about a discussion involving the trust and control of the house 2 days after Eric died?
Correct. You're referring to the altercation on that, right?
I am.
Okay, yeah.
And then did you provide some information to the police regarding, I think you mentioned earlier, like a demand notice as it relates to the civil lawsuit?
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Nestor, why don't you perform any recross that you think is within the scope of that redirect? We'll take a break, have an additional conversation.
Thank you, Your Honor, I'll be happy to. I need to grab that back for the
No problem.
email. Okay, so just to put in perspective, which has happened, all those things Mr. Bloodworth talked about that you told the police about, we're talking about March 21st, before y'all even know how Eric died, right?
Correct.
And he talked to you about a HELOC, is that right?
Correct.
And what's a HELOC? Tell us what that is, what it stands for. Do you know what it stands for?
I do not know what it stands for.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
What do you know it to be?
Like a home equity loan?
That's what it stands for.
Okay.
Home equity line of credit. Does that
Okay.
sound familiar? Okay. So tell me as far as the HELOC goes,
Mhm.
it's your belief that Kouri got one of those on the house without Eric's knowing about it, right?
Correct. Eric told me.
Okay. And one of the documents that you executed as trustee, when you became trustee of the trust, was something called a durable power of attorney. Do you remember that?
That I executed?
I'm using fancy lawyer words, I'm
Sorry.
sorry. A document you had to sign. Where the trust gives you power of attorney over all of
Okay.
Eric's assets. Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, I was his power of attorney.
Right.
Yeah. I
And
don't
that
think it
was-
was durable. I think it was power of attorney.
Just leave that word out, it doesn't even matter. All right, so you had a power of attorney, and that was before Eric died, right?
That I had a power of attorney
Uh-huh.
before Eric died?
To be trustee, if he ever did die. Do you remember?
I would have to ask my lawyer that too.
No
I am
worries.
sorry because I know all of it's very different, and
No worries. I don't want to turn you into lawyer up there.
Okay.
This is actually really important.
Okay.
So there was a time where you had to revoke all prior power of attorneys that were granted by Eric in order for you to have the final power of attorney, right? Do you remember that?
Is that on like the letter's testimony? Or you'd have to show it to me.
I
I'm
will.
sorry.
Let me pull it up. Katie, do you have the revocation? Yeah, just a minute. Let me look at what the number is. It's KRB 5 or 6. This one, it's probably, do you see it? The revocation? Okay, can you pull that up on the screen? Only for, Your Honor, we only want to show this to the witness and counsel
Understood.
for right now.
That document is in front of the witness and counsel.
Do you see the document?
Yeah, so that's something my brother signed to revoke any power of attorneys after he found out that she used his. That's not something I've signed.
Your Honor,
That's-
I'm sorry, objection. The copy
don't-
I'm looking at is not signed by anybody.
Yeah,
That's-
and this one's
That's
not
okay.
signed.
Well,
Yeah.
I can follow up on what you just said, because it sounds like you know what I'm talking about.
Do you have an objection?
I just want to make sure we're looking at the same document. She said signed, and I'm not seeing.
Oh,
You
okay.
two are looking at the same document.
Yeah,
Whether it's the same document.
it's not signed, Brad. That was my bad.
Pause for one moment for me, Katie. Whether Ms. Nestor's referring to a different document, I don't know.
Understood.
I think I can clear all this up, and I don't really care too much about the document itself. I'm trying to
Okay.
refresh your memory. It sounds like it's refreshed. So you remember that Eric had to revoke power of attorneys that Kouri had previously had.
Yes, Eric did revoke it.
And you remember what that means is she had a previous power of attorney from Eric. Is that right?
She did have a previous power of attorney, but he did not know that she used it and
Okay.
took out the money.
But the power of attorney she had, and he was upset about it and wanted to revoke it so she couldn't do it again. Is
But-
that fair?
No, to be fair, he said he never signed that one, so there's a lot of litigation on if that's actually proper or not, because he said he did not sign that one. But she did have the
Your
signature
Honor,
on
hold
it.
on just a minute.
Yeah.
Your Honor, we did not ask her to say what Eric said specifically. I would ask that we strike that, or at least tell the jury it's for purposes of why she did what she did and not to take it for truth of the matter.
So let's be careful here. There have been times when Ms. Richins-Benson has given an explanation for why she did or didn't do a thing, and that may have included her recollection of what Eric Richins told her. Those comments so far are inadmissible hearsay that cannot be considered for their truth as to whether Eric actually did those things or not, or thought those things or not. Rather, they can only be considered as context for why Ms. Richins-Benson, as the listener, the hearer of those comments, did or didn't do whatever she did or didn't do next.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that clarification. So to go back, it's your understanding, I just want to I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, but I'm hearing you say that you knew that there was a previous power of attorney that had been given to Kouri, whether Eric signed it, didn't sign it, that there was a dispute about that, and at some point before he died, he said, I'm going to revoke all previous power of attorneys, including that one.
Yes.
That's what I needed. Thank you very much. Also, Mr. Bloodworth just asked you about Eric seeing a divorce attorney. Do you remember when that was?
The dates and everything, it was in 2020.
So
It was before he did his will,
about 2 years before he passed, he saw a divorce attorney, right?
a year and a half.
And is it true that you or your husband are the person who set that meeting up with the divorce attorney?
Correct?
Which one of you?
My husband.
And did you just know this person? So you're like, hey, use this lady, or why were you involved in that?
I wasn't. I just said it was my husband, so you'd have to ask him on that.
Totally
Sorry.
fair. Also, Your Honor, because, may I approach just to be safe? when you were previously being questioned by me, I asked you a question and we decided we weren't going to go into that, but we are going to go into it now, so I'm going to ask it very specific, okay? Did Kouri ever ask the trust to pay her any money in the year after Eric's death, separate from the litigation? Did she ask you to make any disbursements to her or the boys in the year after Eric died? As trustee.
Not that I can remember.
That's all I have, Your Honor. And we will fully release this witness. She can remain in the courtroom for the remainder of the trial.
Okay. Mr. Bloodworth, any additional questions for Ms. Richins-Benson?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
You're welcome to step down.
Okay,
Thank you. Watch your step, please.
I'm okay to just go sit.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see, counsel, should we take a brief restroom break before the next witness?